As always, I like to begin by saying I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bracha, Kwadash, whom I worship. Double honors to my elder apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this word in sincerity and in truth, and who rule well. Salutations be to the hopeful elect that are doing the work, preaching the true gospel of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and his holy and true name. Um, all throughout the camps in the world, wherever they may be, um, you know, teaching the word all throughout the highways, byways, hedges, and gaps, fishing for the elect and also prophesying the downfall of Esau's kingdom and the enslavement of Esau and the other nations. Salutations be to the great cloud of witnesses of Yahshua all throughout the world, also, no matter what country they're in and no matter what they look like. But the ones of them that are believing, may the Lord grant them His holy salvation at His appearing, because they are the descendants of the great dispersion of the nation of Israel, the true nation of Israel, all throughout the world, as prophesied in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 64th verse. Okay, so I saw an article on RT that caught my attention, and it has to do with the 10 horns and America. Okay, and so every time I see these articles concerning America, concerning NATO, concerning the EU, concerning anything that has to do with the Third World War, the MOTB, um, famine, you name it, if it has to do with prophecy, we're gonna jump on it, man, because that's what we're all about in GMS prophecy, right? We're all about Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and his prophecy, and his prophecy is coming to pass because we're living in the last days. All right, so let's just get on to it. Shalom. Okay, so Shalom. So yeah, I'm gonna pull up I pulled up a couple a couple of articles and got some scriptures lined up, concerning the articles, and it's not gonna be a drawn out thing. And like I always say, if you're new to this channel, or if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified of the recent videos that I put up. All right, so let me see. This is one article that I wanted to go into, but just trying to line it up. So yeah, so this is concerning um this is concerning the 10 horns, which represent the nations. As you see here, we have a list of the original 10 nations that had joined the European Economic Community, because that's what the EU, the European Union, used to be known by or go by, the European Economic Community, right? And these nations are a part of a bigger scheme known as the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. All right. So the beast is NATO. Okay. The beast is NATO, and what this is, NATO, is an acronym, and it stands for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and they came together solely for the purpose of going against Russia. Okay, that was their the beginning, in was it inception, conception, or whatever, if you will, of the idea of them coming together. All right, to go against Magog, which Magog is that's Russia is Magog in the Bible, in prophecy, whether you believe it or not. America is, when you go to Revelation, the 17th chapter, which I got uh, that chapter queued up, is the whore that sits upon the beast. Okay, She controls the beast and tells the beast what to do. And who controls America? The small hat people do. All right. That's why ultimately, all these nations, these 10 horn nations, um, they're gonna hate this whore America because of what she tried to make these nations do, or not tried to make them do, but made them do, and made them sell out pretty much to their pappy Satan, and got them in a whole lot of trouble, right? So let's read off the seven heads, right? The seven heads, all right, are the kingdoms, all the kingdoms, major kingdoms of the Edomites. Who are the Edomites? The what you'll know them as the so-called Caucasian people today, so-called white people today. Okay, the small hat people being the main ones out of them all. All right, they're the ones that are gonna get they're the ones that are gonna get America into this big conundrum, so to speak. Look up the word conundrum, you know, and they're not gonna be able to get out of it. And this situation with Ukraine might be it. We're praying and hoping. Okay, that might be the beginning of the Third World War, man. You know, and things may not quell down. You know, and we hope it doesn't, because the quicker the Third World War come, well, first the mandating of the MOTV come, then the Third World War come, then that much quicker our Lord Yahweh Shai will come. Okay, I pray that I be a part of that holy number. That's to be saved, man. And I know you brothers and sisters pray the same thing also. So this is like I said, the major empires or kingdoms of the Edomites, beginning with the Greeks, right, with Alexander the so-called Great. All right, the Greeks. All right, then came the Romans, right? Then came the Spanish, the French, the British, Germania Minor, and Germania Major. Now, when you look up Germania Minor and Germania Major, they it may come up as Germania the Lesser and Germania the Superior, or something like that. Germania Inferior and Germania Superior. You know, it could come up like that, but it's talking about the same thing. Those are the seven heads, all right, of this beast system. All right, and then you had the 10 horns, and the 10 horns of this beast would be these are the original member nations: Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Greece, Ireland, England, and West Germany. These make up the 10 original European Economic Community nations. And it was established in 1958. Their headquarters was in Brussels, Belgium, and when they first erected the headquarters, the building, the design and architecture of the building is in the form of a broken cross. So they're like, as a symbol that they are against the Most High's Son, okay, Yahweh Shai. Okay, so and when it was first erected, they put up 10 flag poles representing these 10 original nations. Now you have more than 10, so that's why certain biblical scholars would say, well, at one time we thought that they represented the 10 horns, but now there's more than that. So we can't use that for that prophecy. No, you got to stick to what it was originally. Though it was 10, and that was prophetic. So let me go on and read the article. Okay. Let's see, I could pull it up right here. Right here, okay? This is the article. And this is on RT, Lord willing. Like I always do. Sometimes I don't, because I forget. But Lord willing, I don't forget. I'll put the link of this article down in the description box below, so you can read it for yourself. And you brothers and you sisters, well, mainly you brothers, because you are the teachers and the heads of this nation. Get in the habit of checking out the news, man. As soon as you wake up, or throughout the day, especially in the morning, just to see what's going on in the world, man. Don't have your head up your ass, man. You know, do the job of a watchman. On your tower, man, watching, right, to see what's happening. And so this is something there's a couple of juicy topics that I could have went into on RT, but this one just stood out to me. So it says U.S. wants Europeans to join standoff against China. You know, the U.S. wants a whole bunch of shit. The U.S. always wants to control the narratives of the theater of war and policies throughout the world and shit. Like they're a great example of how the world should be. America is the opposite of what the world should be, man. And that's why the nations are getting upset and mad, man. America caused these nations to change their old ways. The ways that they used to live for hundreds of years and centuries, man. And the U.S., man, have caused these people, to. That's why it talks about a cup, man. A cup filled with filth in the Lord's hand. That's America, because that's that same cup that they gave to drink to the nations, man, which is abomination. Teaching them that they could be whatever they want to be, and you don't have to be, go by the Bible and nothing. Just as long as you're happy and you don't hurt anyone, all that yada 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 bullshit, man. Okay, that's all part of their agenda. To break down the moral fibers of a nation, man. They also use divide and conquer, right? The woman against the man, the children against the man, and break up a man's household. And that's all a part of the new world order agenda, man. Divide and conquer, so that way it would leave a man frail and weak and not able to fight for himself and his family. So anyway, so it gives them the ability to control men better. All right. And that's why they're trying to do all these in the news. You keep on hearing of all these shootings and things. We know what the hell that is, man. That's for them to pass policy, to take away the right of the sovereign people, so-called sovereign people of the world, and mainly the of America. Take away their rights to bear arms, right? Their Second Amendment right. So that way they won't have the ability to defend themselves against an evil and corrupt government. All right, so it says the U.S. wants Europeans to join standoff against China. Beijing is challenging European securities and values. U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman says European nations need to join forth, because there's a lot of things happening, man. And China, they're afraid of China because China is down with Russia. Okay, China's down with Russia. North Korea is down with Russia. There's a couple of nations that are down with Russia, man, and backing Russia up. So, and they have a strong military force also, China. And their economy is stronger than the U.S. economy, man. All right, it says European nations need to join forces with the U.S. to help it face the growing challenge to the existing world order posed by China. U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman told journalists via a video link on Thursday, countering Beijing's influence. It says countering Beijing's influence is important for preserving what she called the European way of life, the official claim. Whoa. Yeah, and the European way of life is the so-called Caucasian way of life. The nations are they're through with Esau ruling, man, because Esau has fucked up the world, man, destroyed the earth. They destroyed nations, taking away people's taking away people's resources, man. And this just messed up the whole ecosystem. All right, and the nations, man, Moab, because China, that they're known as the Moabites in the Bible and in prophecy. They don't want Esau ruling. They don't want, they want to topple this man, because they know that they're weak now. They're not how they used to be. The great British imperial empire, and the whole colonization of the British coming to colonize the world, and the so-called Caucasian way of things. The dark nations they're through. Nobody wants to deal with these Edomites anymore, man. You know, um, nations, they don't want to deal with the U.S. dollar anymore. They don't want anything to do with it, man. It's losing value, a lot of value on a daily basis. The U.S. economy is the U.S. debt, right? National debt is out through the roof. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a cancer, and they don't want to do with it anymore. They don't want nothing to do with it anymore, man. All right. So they know that America is on its last leg, man. So they trying to come up into power. But what the Moabites don't know, which are the Chinese, that they are not next in line to be the world dominating nation, man. The next world dominating nation is, well, you can read about it in the Bible. Okay, is God's chosen people, the Israelites. Okay, that's the next world dominating nation. All right, in prophecy, and all nations will be under our Lord's Son, whose name is Yahushua, and he looks like what you will call a so-called black man, but except he's gonna be coming down with super angelic power, along with the angelic forces, to take Esau and the other nations out, and to establish his kingdom right here on earth with his chosen people, his chosen men, the elect of the nation of Israel, ruling, of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, man. That's it. That's what's coming, man. And the nations are, it said that the nations imagined a vain thing. What's that in Psalms, the second chapter? Give me a second. Yeah, Psalms 2 and 1. It says, "Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?" So these Moabites, they're raging. They're imagining a vain thing. And what's that vain thing that they're imagining? That they're going to be the next world superpower. Okay, that was Psalms 2 and 1. All right. So that's another nation that they're going to get involved in this third world's war, but they're all going to, the Lord's going to bring them all together to what is known as the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which is over there in the Middle East, so that they can all destroy themselves, man. And the Lord is doing all that just to put his to establish his kingdom right here on earth, and to put his people back in their rightful place in the land of Israel, right where they belong, because that's the Lord's chosen land, and we're the Lord's chosen people. Okay, so that was a mouthful, man. But this has to be said, because this is what's coming, man. We are the prophets of the Lord, are we are the heralds. Look up the word herald, Herald, and we're heralding the kingdom of our Lord Yahushua. Like John the Baptist. John the Baptist was a herald, and he was heralding the coming of the Son of the Most High back then. You see? Um, yeah, it says that he was a voice in the wilderness, saying, "Prepare ye the way of the Lord to make his path straight." Right. So that's what John the Baptist were. So we're coming in that same legacy, you know. And we're saying, what are we saying out there? That the kingdom of heaven is coming, and that and prepare the way for the Lord and make his path straight. And that's why we're out there in the highways and byways, man. So this is a definitely um um a a job that we are required to do, and that we are indebted to do. We are indebted to Yahushua because he laid down his life for us, and he spilled his blood for us, man, to cover our sins, so that way the Father Yahweh could take us back, man. So it says European nations need to join forces with the U.S. to help. And what is that? What is that right there in a nutshell? That is the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, and the horse sitting upon the beast, riding the beast, right? To join forces against China, all right? And also to join forces against Magog, man, all right, which is Russia. Ultimately, that's the whole thing. They what they're trying to do. What they're trying to do is take over the whole world, man. That's what NATO's been trying to do, and Putin knew that, and NATO acting like, no, we weren't trying to expand our forces or our grip of the world everywhere. Yes, they were, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to topple Putin and Russia and take over that whole continent, man, which is a large landmass, man. All right. It says European nations need to join forces with the U.S. to help it face the growing challenge to the existing world order posed by China. U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman told journalists via a video link on Thursday, countering Beijing's influence is important for preserving what she called the European way of life, the official claim. It says, but the Lord said that Moab, which are the Chinese or China, is my washpot, right? Meaning the Lord is gonna clean Esau ass out, and he's gonna use China. He's gonna use Magog and the other nations that are against this whole European way of life, to wipe them out, man. Okay, and to destroy them. He said at Edom he will cast his shoe, man, and that shoe is talking about those nuclear missiles, man, to burn Esau ass up. That's what that's talking about. It says it says countering Beijing's influence is important for preserving what she called the European way of life, the official claimed. Earlier, Washington called China the only nation that has both the will and ability to reshape the world order and threaten Western nations. Let me read that again. It says earlier, Washington called China the only nation that has both the will and ability to reshape the world order and threaten Western nations. And those Western nations in that world order is all a Caucasian world order, man. All right? Controlled and dominated by Edomites. That's what they're talking about. It says shared vision of the future. Sherman now says China was a threat to Western values long before it supposedly aligned itself with Russia. See, I told you that. It says which currently dominates the headlines in the West due to Moscow's ongoing military operation in Ukraine, which could very well be the beginning of the Third World War, man, right before our face, which is prophecy. It says even before President Xi Jinping and President Vladimir Putin declared their no limits partnership in February, the PRC, People's Republic of China, has challenged Europe's security.
Europe's economic and Europe's values, Sherman told journalists in Washington D.C. So you could read, like I said, I'm gonna put the link so that you could read this article here in full in its entirety. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I got another article here that deals with you know America policing the world. Like I said, America is that whore that sits upon the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, which is NATO, having the reins of the beast in her hands and making the beast go where she wants it to go. And the nations are they getting upset. Even those nations, man, down with NATO, they're getting sick and tired of that. Because they're like, does this make any sense? In the direction that we're going, is that good, healthy for them? And the answer is no. It's who benefits, right? Who's gonna benefit from all that? It's gonna be America and the people controlling America, which are the small hat people. Now, this is an article that I ran into. It says, should America still police the world? This is from the New Yorker, right? And it says, and as you see here, it shows the eagle, because what is the sign of Esau, Edom? Right? The eagle, right? You can read about that in the book of Obadiah, right? Who exalted himself as the eagle, right? Got the world in holding up the world, right, in its wings, and then it has the Rothschild shield right here. Okay, because that's exactly what that is. The shield and the coat of arms of the Rothschild. Which, what are they? They are small hat people, which belong to the elites. All right, they are the elite of the elites of the nation of Esau, Edom, man, and they are the people who rule and control this world, this whole planet, man. And they have a lot of riches. All right, stolen riches, by the way. It says, should America still police the world? On the problem and potential of a 70-year-old superpower. It says, in 1939, shortly before the German invasion of Poland, a British emissary, Lord Lothian, visited the White House with an unusual request. The United Kingdom was unable to protect the world from the Nazis, Lothian told President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Anglo-Saxon civilization, which that means Edomite civilization, or all white, all Caucasian civilization, would thus need a new guardian. The scepter, keep that word in mind. Keep that word in mind, scepter, man. It says the scepter was failing from British hands. Lothian explained, and the United States must snatch it up. But the United States scepter too is falling. So let's get a quick scripture, man, before that point expires, right? Let's go to the book of. Let's go here to the book of. Isaiah, the 14th chapter. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, this is perfect, man. Um, it says, this is the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter, in the 4th verse, right? It says, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say. Now, who's going to take up this proverb against the king of Babylon? All the other nations that were confederate, right? And you could read about that also in the book of Obadiah and also in the book of Jeremiah, the 49th chapter. All those that were in league with America, they made a pact, a union, and married her, all right, this whore. And then they were deceived by her, man. you know, because they were lied to, okay? Just like they did to our people, just like they did to our brothers, Gad, right? They made these a whole bunch of treaties with them, the North American Indians, and they broke every last one of them. All right, and then pushed them into the corners, man, into what they call reservations, man. It's gonna be a day also when our people, the Gadites, all right, the North American Indians, are gonna rise up, and the Seminole Indians are gonna rise up in these last days, all right, against this man, all right, because they are a part of the nation of Israel, man. Okay, remember, there's gonna be 12,000 out of each tribe that the Mosai is gonna set up, all right, to be the governing body of the kingdom to come right here on earth. And it says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? Yeah, the global police ceased. Who's that? America, man. The golden city ceased. That's America. Because at one point, when the turn of the in the turn of the what's that? In the turn of the 19th century, you had all these immigrants coming over, man, and they thought that America's streets were paved with gold. That the opportunity for them was going to be vast, and they were going to be. It was like the kingdom of heaven for them, man. And when they got over here, man, they quickly found out that that was all lies and bullshit, man. All right. It says, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked. And the scepter, right? I told you to keep that word in mind, the word scepter. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked. Who's the wicked? Esau, Edom. You can read about that in the book of Malachi, right? The first chapter. It says, and the scepter of the rulers. Who is that? Who's ruling the whole entire globe right now? The Edomites, man. That whole so-called European way of things, of civilization, and them ruling and them controlling the narrative on how the civilization should be and how people should live. That's all gonna be. That's all being broken right before, or breaking and falling apart right before our eyes, because it's prophecy, man. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, Esau Edom's staff, and the scepter of the rulers. Who's ruling right now? Esau Edom is in power right now, man. All right, that's why you got these Israelite camps. They're holding camp with arms in their hands, man. You know, um, that's carnal, man. You're not gonna take this man down like that. This man was given the blessing of the sword, and the modern day sword is the gun, man. And they got weapons that go beyond the gun, man. They got laser, sonic. Man, they got all kind of shit, man. You don't wanna go up against this man like that carnally. You're gonna be flattened. You're gonna be destroyed, man. All right. The way that this man is going to be taken out is by our Lord Yahweh Shai and the holy angels, when our Father Yahweh gives the right away for them to come to do it. All right. And we're close to this time, man. All you got to do is be patient, man. As it is written, in your patience possess ye your souls, man. All right. That's all you have to do. It says, the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. Who's that? Esau Edom, man. Okay. Especially, he did this especially to the Lord's people, to the Israelites over here in America and in the islands, right? Put us in slavery, man. He tortured our people, man. He caused us to forget our identity. They knew who the hell we were. They knew that we were the Israelites, man. They destroyed, raped, robbed, and murdered our people that were already over here in the North, Central, and South Americas. Okay, you had the Latin, the Latin tribes, Spanish speaking tribes, over here. You had the North American Indians, the Seminoles. They, All of our people over here, man, they conquered them, destroyed them, raped, robbed, and murdered them, man. You know, and stole their land, stole their resources, man, and then caused our people to serve them as slaves, man. So how in the hell do you think that they're not gonna get that back? That's not the Most High is a righteous power, man. He's all about vengeance. All right. So that's exactly what's coming back, and then it says double. When you read the book of Lamentations in the 4th chapter, it says that double is gonna come upon Esau, Edom, man, of what they did. So they're in trouble, man. It is not a good day to be a Edomite, man. Okay. It says the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, and that's what they did to colonize the whole entire globe. He smote people with great wrath, with their military strength and power. They had no mercy, man. You know, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. So now's the time when the Lord is coming and gonna bring that back upon their heads. You know, it's only right. It's only righteousness. You know, the majority of the problems of the world today are because of Esau, Edom, because of the wicked ruling, man, and the things that they allow, because they don't believe in the Most High. See, it said the fool have said in his heart that there is no God, man. So their thing is, look, there is no God. No, what they're saying is we are God, and what we say is what rule down here. But now the Most High said, okay, all right, we're gonna see about that, you know. So it says, the 7th verse, the whole earth is at, meaning after this man is destroyed and taken out the way, the whole earth is going to be at rest and it's going to be quiet, meaning there's not going to be no more war. Okay? They break forth into singing. Yeah, it's going to be nothing but bliss and happiness, man, under the rule of our Lord Yahweh Shai, reigning down here on earth, man. So that's what's coming, man. You know? It says, where did we leave off? Let me read this paragraph again. It says in 1939, let me see, excuse me. It says in 1939, shortly before the German invasion of Poland, a British emissary, Lord Lothian, visited the White House with an unusual request. The United Kingdom was unable to protect the world from the Nazis. Lothian told President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Anglo-Saxon civilization, which that's the Edomite rule, would thus need a new guardian. The scepter was falling from British hands, Lothian explained, and the United States must snatch it up. They're showing you that the scepter, that America was holding a scepter. See, and but now that scepter is falling from her hands. Now, it says, and the United States must snatch it up. Though informally made, it was an extraordinary entreaty. London was willing to step aside and let Washington lead the world. There you go. All right, exactly what we just were showing you, that America has that the scepter was passed on to America. British being the mother of America. And British is also Great Britain is also in prophecy. It says, but FDR was not interested. Indeed, he was offended. I got mad clear through. He wrote. Who were the British to dump their burdens onto his lap, saving? But he was in the pockets of the elites. They all were, so they knew the agenda. Saving civilization was their job. The United States Army at the time was only slightly larger than Bulgaria's, with little ability to hold back illiberal forces in Central Europe. What the British need, FDR concluded, was to buck up with a good stiff grog, whatever the hell that means. It says that was perhaps the last time a president would be so blithe about U.S. hegemony. As Stephen Wertheim explains in his new history, Tomorrow, the World, the Second World War is what changed Roosevelt's mind and the minds of nearly all those around him. The fall of France in 1940 convinced U.S. leaders of the need to enter the fray. In 1941, the publisher Henry Luce went further and proposed an American century, a post war global order led by the values, institutions, and ultimately the military force of the United States. Yeah, thus they have made the nations drunk with the wine, right? With that wine that they had, okay? Their their um their so-called democracy, their philosophies of way of life, which is all wickedness and bullshit and everything that has to do against the Most High. And they caused the nations to go that way. But now the nations are seeing that that wasn't the way, man. You know that they have been put um, in a bad situation. Okay, that's gonna lead them to be destroyed by the Most High, man. It says Luce's idea was controversial at first, yet by the end of the war, it seemed inevitable. By then, the hastily expanded U.S. military had expanded just like the Roman military was expanded and had garrisons all throughout the world, and they stretched themselves out too thin. All right, that's how the Germanic tribes were able to take out the Western Roman Empire, which was ruled by the Edomites, and take them down, man. All right. It says by then the hastily expanded U.S. military had gained footholds all over the planet, and Washington was reluctant to give them up. As Roosevelt's successor, Harry Truman, put it to Congress in late 1945, we must relentlessly preserve our superiority on land and sea and in the air. Yeah, meaning a world dominating power, a kingdom, man. Okay, showing you that America is a kingdom. Now, I want to get to the point because the title of it was, "Should America Still Police the World?" Man, right? So, let's see. Let me see. And I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put this article, the link to this article, on in the description box below as well, so you can read into it, man. I just wanna start wrapping the lesson up too. Just give me a second. Because this is a pretty long article. Um, Let me read this right here. It says Porter has different advice. Abandon the seat. That sounds like Isaiah the 47th chapter, right? It says to sit to sit on the ground. There is no throne. Give me a second. Isaiah 47 and 1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon." Who's the virgin daughter of Babylon? That's America, man. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. Yeah, in other words, get up from that seat being a throne, and just sit on the ground in confusion. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. That's kind of what this paragraph is saying right here. America is not going to be the one to police the world anymore, to be the world's superpower anymore, man. Okay? The nation that's going to be the world's superpower is the nation of Israel, the Lord's chosen nation out of all nations that he has created. And that's what we're heading to. It says Porter has different advice. Abandon the seat, right? That throne. Sit your ass on the ground. It says the US centered system was built at the end of the Second World War, when the U.S. economy was larger than the four next largest economies combined. Today, by some measures, it is smaller than China's. Um, the crisis of U.S. supremacy has been in the making for decades, though Porter thinks that it has now reached its culmination, meaning its end, its peak, right? For the United States to hang on to its increasingly untenable position would only leave it a militarized, overextended. That sounds like Rome to me. Type in. You could Google this, man. Um, 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 Rome being overextended or overstretched, or thinned out, because that's exactly what Rome did, and they didn't have the what was it, the denarius was being devalued, just like the U.S. dollar is being devalued, and they didn't have enough money to sustain these military forces that they spread out throughout the world, man. All right, it costs money, man, to go to war and to maintain an army. You know, it says it says, for the United States to hang onto its increasingly untenable position would only leave it a militarized, overextended empire in a permanent state of alarm, perpetually threatening the peace it claims to protect. But yeah, because it's not peace. They're all about war, man, and destruction. A better course for a peace. They're all about peace for the elites, because that's what these for the military industrial complex is sustained by the elites, you know. But the elites are losing their grip, right? A better course for the obsolescent hegemon, Porter proposes, would be to decline gracefully. And it's not going to decline gracefully because Esau is proud, right? Let's go to the book of Obadiah. Let's go to the book of Obadiah, right? And it says, let's read from the second verse, right? Obadiah chapter 1, verse 2. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, meaning small as far as hated, and insignificant amongst the other nations. Thou art greatly despised, and they're being despised even by their own kind, America. Okay? They're being despised by the Ten Horn, the European Union nations, by NATO nations, and definitely by the dark nations, right? That has always been. It says the pride. That's why they're not gonna bow out gracefully, because of the pride that Esau got, man. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. Who lived in the cliffs of the rock? Esau, Edom, right? That's why they're known as Caucasians, whose habit, because they would rant at a certain point in history, when the dark nations began to rule, they pushed Esau up into those caves, man. All right, whose habitation is high, meaning they're used to living in those high mountainous regions. That's why they love creating in their architecture very high. They got something called skyscrapers, right? Which is not wise, man. It says whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's why they would not gracefully decline or bow out. It says it would require Washington to give up the notion that its troops or its values should dominate the planet. This wouldn't mean retreating from worldly affairs, just adjusting to a more level international field. They're not. Yeah, Esau ain't gonna do that, man. He's too damn proud. He's the king of the world, man. How are they gonna do that? It says relieved of having to frantically defend its leadership. Porter notes the United States could focus, as it had before the Second World War, on the more achievable goals of protecting itself from physical attack and defending its republican institutions. So I'm just gonna let me see. I saw dethrone. Let me see what this says. It says both tasks would be easier with a smaller military. It's hard to be a calm and secure republic with and this is not a republic, man. Okay, this is not a republic. The people do not rule. It's not a democracy neither, man. All right. It says it says it's hard to be a calm and secure republic with armed forces stationed everywhere, stirring up. Yeah, that's showing you that that's Rome, stirring up resistance. A dethroned Washington would still need to maneuver against powerful rivals. Porter recommends that the United States contain China and block it from forming a strong alliance with Russia. Too late. Yet it would no longer have to compulsively monitor the map for threats of its primacy. Like I said, you can read this yourself. I'm gonna put the link in the description box, man. I just gotta write this down, make sure that I got the. Just give me a second. Yeah, so showing you that America is the continuation of Rome, man. This is Rome trying to spread its eagles, all its feathers, its wings, all throughout the world, but it's too weak. It's not it's not as strong as it used to be, man. So America is reaching the end. It has reached its end, its height, and now it's time for it to come down and to sit in the dust, like I said in Isaiah the 47th chapter. All right, so I got one more verse that I wanted to bring out, and that was in Revelation, the 17th chapter, and then I'm gonna close this out. Okay, right here. There you go. Right? Revelation, the 17th chapter, and the first verse. And it says, and there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore. The great whore is America. All right, keep that in mind. That sitteth upon many waters. The many waters is speaking about many peoples, nations, right? Because she has ruled the world, so she's above. That's why you got that statue that's reminiscent of that, the so-called Statue of Liberty, sitting upon on the water, and she's holding the so-called torch of liberty. That had nothing to do with liberty, man. That was given by the French Orient Masons, Freemasons, to the Freemasons over here in America, in New York. I believe it was did they give it to the Freemasons of the Scottish Rite, I believe. You can look that up. It says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornications. See, they drank of that cup, man, of the following the narrative of America and the so-called democratic way and the philosophies and all the wickedness, man, that America spews out, and idealisms and all that, right? It says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Right? They fornication meaning adultery, and America has laid down with all these nations. That's why she's known as the great whore. And caused them to go off. Right? It says so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast. That was that same image that I showed you. That same image that I showed you of that whore that's sitting upon, right? Where is it? Right here. Here you go. Here you go right here, man. See if I can zoom in on that. There you go. There goes that woman right there, man. See. There goes that woman right there, sitting upon that scarlet color. Scarlet color meaning red. And who was the one that was known to be red? Esau Edom. Okay? His name was changed from Ishashwa, which means wasted away is he, because he was born without melanin in his skin, without color. He was pretty much transparent, so the blood showed forth through his skin. All right, so he was red. So his name was changed to Adawam, which means red. Okay, it's easy, man. And America is that whore that sat upon the beast, pulling its reins, telling it what to do and where to go. All right. So, verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast. That woman is America, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Right. They use a lot of blasphemy against the Most High because they totally try to say that they were Christians, that they were God's chosen people, that they changed they covered the faces of the judges thereof, like it says in Job 9:24, right? They painted the Most High to be a white man, the son of the Most High, the Israelites, the main characters that were righteous, as themselves. So they went around conquering and teaching the nations that they were, God, so to speak, ultimately, and the people believed them, man. But now the nations are like, nah, they were lied to. They're coming to find out that these are the children of the devil. It says, so he let me see. Right, it says, woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast full of names of blasphemy, meaning lies, having 7 heads. Yeah, with all these religions, they got their religious world structure known as the Roman Catholic system, and that's their the religious so-called religious part of them that have a lot to do with spreading these blasphemies against the Most High and against the Most High's chosen people and against the Most High's Son, right? Full of names of blasphemy. 7 heads and 10 horns is that Edomite Caucasian ruling structure that they have, okay? And held bent against world domination. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stone and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abomination and filthiness of her fornication. Yes, meaning she was dressed in royal apparel because America became great, just like ancient Babylon, right? When Nebuchadnezzar ruled, it became great. All nations came to her, trading with her, bringing all their goods and their manufactured goods and precious things, and they made a lot of money with her, and they send their money back to their countries and stuff like that. But it's gonna come a point where they're gonna wake up and be like, look, we're not doing good over here anymore, and they're gonna wake up to the realization that America's about to be destroyed and taken out, and they're gonna end up going back to their lands, their countries where they came from. All right, that's also in prophecy. It says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. When you break this down into Hebrew, each Hebrew character has a numerical significance to it, which all adds up to 613. and 66, or the 666, okay? Verse 6, it says, "And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints." Yeah, because this woman, um, in its beginning stages, when the British came over here, and the French and the Spanish, when they came to colonize of the Americas, man, they destroyed the saints of the Most High that were over here. All right, mainly of the North American Indians, which they are of the tribe of Gad. And then you had the other tribes, man, in Central America and South America, man. Also, the different tribes, and they destroyed them. So it says, "And I saw but mainly talking about America, because that's the woman." So the saints, the blood of the saints that they destroyed was those North American Indians, and then later they brought Israelites, right? Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, that they captured in the northern and western coast of Africa, and brought them over here as slaves, okay? And they killed and tortured and murdered them, all right? And with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And it said, "And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit," meaning Europe, "and go into perdition." That's talking about America. It's going to be destroyed with fire. "And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names..." Okay, I'm almost done. "Whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is." Yeah, because at that particular time, Saint John, he saw this vision on the Isle of Patmos, and he was there serving prison term, for the word of Yahushua, for insurrection, so to speak. And like the other apostle Tahar says, he had to have been like in his 90s or something, an old man, and he was there. From what the history says, that he was there in the salt mines, man, working, as free labor, so to speak, and as a slave there for the Romans, man, and it was for the preaching of the word of Yahushua, man. And the Lord came unto him and showed him all these visions of the future, so he saw NATO, he saw the 10 horns, the EU and all that. All right, he saw that structure. He also seen the destruction of that whole structure, man, and the coming and the ushering in of our Lord Yahushua. So I'm gonna skip right to where it says the 10 horns, right? It says right here. It says 11, right? It says, "And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition." That's talking about America. And the because it came is the 8th and is of the 7, meaning the 7 it came out of Britain, okay, and Britain being one of those main Edomite empires that ruled, right? It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings," meaning the EU nations, right? Which I read off to you, "which have received no kingdom as yet," because back then they weren't even conceived back then. Okay, this was a vision that Saint John saw, "but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast," meaning they were gonna have power with the beast being NATO, and they were gonna rule for a small little bit of time, and that time is almost up. "These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast." They're gonna join with the beast, join with NATO, right? These shall make war with the Lamb. They're gonna fight against Yahushua, okay, and the holy angels, right? And there was war in heaven, right? When you read in Revelation, the 12th chapter, "These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them." Yahushua is gonna win that war. You know what I'm saying? They should be reading the Holy Bible, man. The Holy Bible is written in every language on the planet Earth, man. They should know this. And you know what? The elites know this prophecy. They know of all these prophecies, and they know who we are also. So, but they're trying to change prophecy, man. That's the Most High has them deceived, just like He deceived Pharaoh and thinking he was gonna hold on to Israel, and defeat the Most High when the Most High was delivering Israel from his hands. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and the King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. That's the 144,000 and the elect of the nation of Israel that the Lord is going to deliver. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. It's gonna come upon a time that these EU nations and NATO nations, they're gonna hate America for something they did, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Thermonuclear destruction. They're gonna make her desolate and naked, and eat her flesh by way of thermonuclear destruction, man. Okay, they're gonna shoot their missiles over here. All right, their ICBM missiles with nuclear warheads on them to destroy her. All right, 100%. For the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill His will and to agree, and because the Most High reigns down here on earth, man, not man. See, that's why Esau was deceived. He deceived himself by his great pride. He thought that he was the Most High and that the Most High didn't exist. For the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill His will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And we're approaching that day. And the woman which thou sawest, which is America, is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth, man. So America has that scepter, like I read to you in that article, man. In this article here by the New Yorker, which Lord willing, I'm gonna put that the link to that article up. So with that, I hope that was an edifying lesson, and just stay tuned, just keep watching, keep studying, keep praying, man, and stay faithful until the time that the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai remove this man out of his place. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom.